Commander Marcus Thorne stood in the control room of his massive warship, the Sovereign Dawn. His eyes scanned the glowing screens that showed maps of distant stars and planets. He was the leader of the Vraxian Empire's Third Fleet, and today he felt proud. His empire was about to conquer another world. A young officer named Emma Wells walked quickly toward him. Her face looked worried. She carried a data tablet that glowed with strange symbols. "Commander, we have received an urgent message," she said. It came from the Elder Archives. Marcus barely looked at her. The Elder Archives were ancient libraries filled with information from civilizations that had died millions of years ago. Most people in the Empire thought the archives were just old stories and useless warnings from the past. "Show me," Marcus said, not really caring. Emma pressed a button and a hologram appeared in the air. The message was written in many dead languages. The ship's computer worked hard to translate it. After several minutes, words appeared that Marcus could read. The message said, "Species name, human. Home planet, Earth. Danger level, total extinction. Warning, do not contact them. Do not fight them. Do not even watch them. This is not advice. This is how you survive." Marcus read the message twice. Then he laughed. It was a loud, mocking laugh that made his crew members look at each other nervously. "An extinction threat?" he said, shaking his head. "We have been watching this planet called Earth for 6 years. These humans still use primitive rockets that burn fuel. They have not even united their own planet. Half of them are poor while the other half argue about money and power." Emma looked down at her tablet. "Sir, the Elder Archives have never been wrong before. Maybe we should think about this more carefully." "Think about what?" Marcus said, his voice sharp. "We have already sent 50 warships to attack Earth. The High Council approved this mission. Earth has water, minerals, and other resources we need. We will take them." He pressed a button and images of Earth appeared on the big screen. It was a beautiful planet with blue oceans, green land, and white clouds. It looked peaceful and helpless. "Look at these humans," Marcus continued, zooming in to show human cities. "They draw imaginary lines on their maps and kill each other over these lines. They believe in different gods and murder each other because of religion. They are broken into hundreds of groups. They are weak, primitive, and they cannot stop us." An older officer named Robert Kane stepped forward. He had gray hair and scars on his face from many battles. He was Marcus's most trusted advisor. "Commander, please listen to me," Robert said seriously. "That message uses the words, total extinction. Not danger. Not threat. Extinction. Those words are only used for the most terrible things in the universe like exploding stars or black holes. Things that destroy everything." Marcus turned to face Robert. His expression became cold. "Robert, I have known you for 15 years. You have fought in 30 wars. Are you really telling me that you are afraid of a species that only learned about nuclear power 100 years ago?" Robert did not look away. "I am saying that I am worried about a species that discovered nuclear power and then immediately used it as a weapon. They dropped nuclear bombs on their own people. Twice. What kind of species does that?" The control room became very quiet. Everyone stopped working and listened. Marcus pulled up more information about human history that his scouts had collected. The data showed thousands of wars. Humans had been killing each other with better and better weapons for their entire history. But Marcus thought this proved his point. Humans were violent, yes, but they were disorganized and scattered. "Their violence is random and stupid," Marcus said firmly. "They waste their energy fighting each other. When they face a strong, organized force like our empire, they will give up quickly. This is basic military science." Emma's computer made a sound. "Sir, I am receiving a message from Fleet Admiral Harrison. Our invasion force has entered the outer edge of the solar system where Earth is located. They report no resistance. They will reach Earth in 72 hours. Marcus smiled. In just 3 days, the Vraxian Empire would control another world. The High Council would praise him. History would remember him as a great commander. "Send my congratulations to Admiral Harrison," Marcus ordered. "Tell him to continue with the plan. Use standard intimidation methods. The humans will surrender before we even fire our weapons." As the message was sent, Marcus looked one more time at the elder warning on his screen. With a wave of his hand, he made it disappear. "Sir," Robert said quietly, "what if the elders knew something that we do not know?" Marcus stood up tall and looked at his crew. "The elders are all dead, Robert. We are alive. That should tell you whose judgment is better." He sat down in his command chair. "Set course to follow the invasion fleet. I want to be there when Earth surrenders. This war will be over in less than a week." The Sovereign Dawn started moving, its powerful engines pushing the giant ship toward Earth. Far behind them, in the Elder archives, the ancient warning continued to flash on old computers. But nobody was reading it. On Earth, telescopes and satellites detected the alien ships approaching. Alarms began ringing in military bases all over the world. Governments held emergency meetings. Leaders who had been enemies for decades suddenly needed to talk to each other. Humanity had spent thousands of years divided and fighting itself. But now, for the first time ever, every human being looked up at the stars and saw the same enemy. Marcus Thorne sat in his chair, confident and proud. He had no idea that he had just made the biggest mistake in the history of his empire. The Elder warning had arrived too late. The invasion had begun. And humanity was about to show the galaxy why the ancient civilizations had been so afraid. The Vraxian fleet appeared in Earth's sky like dark metal clouds. 50 enormous warships, each one larger than any building humans had ever constructed, hung in orbit above the planet. Their weapons could destroy entire cities with a single shot. Admiral Patricia Harrison commanded the lead group of ships from her vessel, the Iron Judgment. She felt completely confident. This would be easy. Every other species the Vraxians had conquered had surrendered immediately when they saw the fleet. Begin broadcasting the surrender message, she ordered. The Vraxian ships transmitted demands in 3,000 different languages. The message was simple: surrender now or be destroyed. Earth had 1 hour to respond. Patricia expected begging. She expected fear. She expected immediate submission. Instead, Earth launched every weapon it had. Missiles streaked up from the ground. Nuclear warheads, conventional explosives, experimental weapons that had never been tested in real combat, all of them rose toward the Vraxian fleet. Satellites that had been used for communication suddenly changed direction and flew toward the warships like bullets. Even the International Space Station detached its modules and sent them spinning toward the enemy. Evasive action, Patricia shouted. Her crew scrambled to activate defensive shields. Most of the human weapons were destroyed easily. Vraxian shields stopped the nuclear missiles. Their laser systems shot down the satellites. But there were so many attacks coming from so many directions that some got through. A modified communications satellite crashed into a warship's engine, causing an explosion. 3 missiles hit another ship's weapons array, disabling it. Patricia stared at her screens in disbelief. They are attacking us? They must know they cannot win. Her tactical officer, a veteran named Stephen Blake, shook his head slowly. Ma'am, they are not trying to win. They are trying to hurt us as much as possible before they die. The battle continued for hours. Then days. Human forces coordinated attacks from every continent. When their missiles ran out, they used whatever they could find. Old rockets. Military jets modified to reach orbit. Anything that could fly and carry explosives. On the 3rd day of fighting, something happened that Patricia would never forget. A human fighter pilot named James Cooper was flying a damaged aircraft. His engines were failing. His oxygen was running low. He had no weapons left. By all logic, he should have retreated to Earth to save his own life. Instead, he turned his fighter directly toward Patricia's command bridge. His communications channel was open and she heard his last words. "For Earth," James said calmly. Then he pushed his engines to maximum power. The impact killed him instantly. The explosion tore through the bridge's outer hull, killing 300 Vraxian soldiers. The Iron Judgment lost main power and began drifting in space. Patricia survived only because she had been in a protected command pod. She pulled herself from the wreckage, her uniform torn and bloody, and stared at the debris field where the human pilot had been. "He killed himself," she whispered. "He chose to die. That is not logical. That is not rational. No species does this." Stephen helped her to her feet. His face was pale. "Ma'am, sensors are detecting 17 more human aircraft on collision courses with our ships. They are all damaged. They are all out of ammunition. And they are all aiming for critical systems." Patricia felt something she had never experienced in 30 years of military service. She felt afraid. The battle that was supposed to last 4 hours had now stretched into 3 full days. The Vraxians had lost 12 warships. Thousands of their soldiers were dead. And the humans showed no signs of stopping. Commander Marcus Thorne received the reports from his position behind the main fleet. Each message was worse than the last. He sat in his chair, hands shaking, and finally opened the complete Elder Archives file about humans. The ancient text filled his screen. It described how the Elders had encountered humans 50,000 years ago, when humans still lived in caves and used stone tools. The Elders had tried to capture some humans to use as servants and soldiers. Marcus read the final entry from the Elder Civilization. It was written by someone named the Last Keeper, written just before their civilization fell. We thought they were animals. We were wrong. They learned from every defeat. Every time we hurt them, they study what we did and find a way to counter it. They do not have better technology. They do not have superior numbers. But they have something we cannot fight against. They refuse to accept that they have lost. We destroyed their settlements and they built new ones. We killed their leaders and new ones emerged immediately. We captured their weapons and they made new weapons from rocks and metal scraps. They never stop. They never give up. We are abandoning this planet. If you find this message, do not make contact with species called humans. They are not an army. They are a force of nature. We barely escaped. Marcus looked up from the screen. His hands were still shaking. Through the window he could see Earth glowing blue and white in the distance. On his tactical display he watched something that made his blood run cold. Human engineers had captured a damaged Vraxian scout ship. In just 48 hours they had figured out how the Vraxian energy shields worked. Technology that had taken the Vraxian Empire 200 years to develop, humans had copied in 2 days. Now human ships were launching with Vraxian shields protecting them. "Get me a direct channel to the High Council," Marcus said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Tell them we have made a terrible mistake. The elders were right. We need to leave now." But even as he spoke, he knew it was already too late. The humans had tasted Vraxian technology. They had captured ships. They had prisoners to interrogate. They were learning. And from everything Marcus had read, once humans started learning, they never stopped. Marcus sent an urgent message to the Vraxian High Council back on the home world. His message was desperate and clear. They needed to retreat immediately. The humans were far more dangerous than anyone had predicted. The response from the High Council came 6 hours later. The council members were angry. "Commander Thorne, you have 50 advanced warships facing one primitive planet. You have lost only 12 ships. This is unacceptable. You will not retreat. You will complete the invasion. That is an order." Marcus closed his eyes and took a deep breath. The council did not understand. They were not here. They did not see what he was seeing. On Earth, something remarkable was happening. Dr. Helen Foster worked in a laboratory that had been a university just 1 week ago. Now it was a military research facility. Around her, 200 scientists from 30 different countries worked without stopping. They had not slept in 3 days. In front of Helen sat pieces of a Vraxian shield generator. Her team had pulled it from a destroyed warship. The technology was incredibly advanced, using energy principles that human scientists had only theorized about. "We need to understand how this works," Helen said to her team. "Our missiles cannot penetrate their shields. If we can copy this technology, we can protect our own ships." A scientist from Japan named Thomas Reed looked up from his computer. "Dr. Foster, I think I have figured out the power frequency they use. If we can match it, we can generate our own shields." Helen rushed to his station. Other scientists gathered around. They worked together, sharing ideas, testing theories, failing and trying again. There were no arguments about who would get credit for the discovery. There was no competition between nations. There was only the work. 48 hours after they started, Helen's team successfully created a human-made Vraxian shield. It lasted only 10 seconds before failing, but they had done it. They had copied in 2 days what had taken the Vraxians 2 centuries to develop. "Send the plans to every military base on Earth," Helen ordered. "And keep improving it. We need these shields to last longer." Marcus learned about this breakthrough from his intelligence officer. He felt sick to his stomach. He called his most trusted advisor, Robert Kane, to his private quarters. "Robert, look at this," Marcus said, showing him data on human progress. "They have decoded our shield technology. They are manufacturing their own versions. In some cities they are already installing them on aircraft and ships." Robert studied the information carefully. His expression was grim. "How is this possible? Our scientists said their technology was at least 500 years behind ours." Marcus pulled up more files. "I have been reading human history. Their entire existence has been about solving problems under pressure. Every major advancement they made came from conflict. When they invented flying machines, they immediately used them in war and made them better. When they split the atom, they turned it into a bomb. When they reached space, it was because 2 of their nations were competing against each other. Pressure makes them innovate faster." He showed Robert something else. Video footage from Earth's surface. Factories that had made civilian cars were now producing military vehicles. Companies that had created smartphones were now building targeting computers. The entire human economy had transformed into a war machine in less than a week. They are not like other species we have conquered, Marcus said quietly. Other species have specialized workers. Scientists do science. Soldiers do fighting. Leaders do leading. But humans? Every human seems capable of doing whatever is needed. Their doctors are treating wounded soldiers while also designing new medical tools. Their engineers are building weapons while also flying combat missions. They adapt to fill whatever role is necessary. Robert sat down heavily. What do we do? Before Marcus could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical display showed something impossible. A group of human ships was attacking the Vraxian fleet. But these were not primitive human vessels. These were Vraxian ships, captured and repaired and now flown by human pilots. Admiral Patricia Harrison's voice came through the communication system. Commander Thorne, the humans have launched a counteroffensive. They have 3 of our destroyers and multiple support craft. They are using our own weapons against us. Marcus watched the battle unfold. The human pilots flew aggressively, taking risks that no trained Vraxian pilot would take. They crashed their ships into Vraxian vessels when they ran out of ammunition. They used tactics that seemed insane but somehow worked. The Vraxian fleet retreated to Mars orbit, their formation broken and scattered. Marcus sent another message to the High Council. This time he attached all the data he had collected. Historical files about humanity. Combat reports. Intelligence about their rapid technological advancement. And the complete Elder Archives warning. Then his communication screen activated without him requesting it. A human face appeared. It was a military officer wearing a uniform covered in medals and insignia. His name tag read General William Cross. Vraxian Commander, the human said. His voice was calm but hard. My name is General Cross. I speak for Earth's Unified Military Command. We reject all terms of surrender. You will withdraw every ship from our solar system immediately. Marcus found his voice. General, you cannot win this war. We have more ships, more weapons, more resources. William smiled, but there was no warmth in it. You had more ships. We have been counting. You arrived with 50. You now have 38 functional vessels. We have been learning quickly. Every ship you lose, we study. Every weapon you fire, we analyze. Every tactic you use, we counter. He leaned closer to the camera. Here is what will happen, Commander. You can leave now peacefully. Or you can stay and teach us exactly where your home world is located. We have captured your navigation computers. We have Vraxian prisoners who are very helpful when they realize we do not torture them, we simply ask them questions. Give us 1 month and we will have faster-than-light travel. Give us 2 months and we will have a fleet. Marcus felt ice in his chest. You would not dare attack our home world. You attacked ours, William said simply. We are just showing you the same courtesy. Your choice, Commander. Leave peacefully and never come back, or stay and face the consequences. You have 24 hours to decide. The transmission ended. Robert looked at Marcus. What do we do? Marcus stared at the empty screen. The elders had been right. Humans did not just survive. They learned. They adapted. They took everything you used against them and made it their own. And now they knew they were not alone in the universe. We leave, Marcus said finally. Before they learn anything else from us. Marcus sent his decision to retreat to the High Council. Their response came quickly, and it was not what he wanted to hear. Commander Thorne, you are hereby ordered to use antimatter weapons on Earth. Destroy the planet completely. Eliminate this threat before it spreads. This is a direct command from the Supreme Council. Marcus stared at the message. Antimatter weapons were the most destructive tools in the Vraxian arsenal. 1 antimatter bomb could turn an entire continent into ash. 3 or 4 could make a planet uninhabitable for thousands of years. No, Marcus said out loud. His second officer, Emma Wells, looked at him in shock. Sir, did you just refuse a direct order from the Supreme Council? Yes, Marcus said firmly. If we try to exterminate humanity, any survivors will never stop hunting us. I have read their history, Emma. Do you know what happens when you corner a human? When you threaten their families and their home. They do not give up. They become more dangerous. He pulled up files on his computer and showed them to his bridge crew. Look at this. In their Second World War, one nation tried to conquer the entire planet. They had better weapons, better training, better everything. But the nations they attacked refused to surrender. Cities were bombed into rubble and humans kept fighting from the rubble. Millions died and the survivors kept building weapons. They fought for 6 years until the aggressor nation was completely destroyed. Robert Kane stood beside him. The Council will execute you for disobeying this order. Better execution than extinction, Marcus replied. If we destroy Earth, the humans who are currently in space stations and on captured ships will survive. Maybe a few thousand. Maybe more. And those survivors will spend the rest of their lives hunting every Vraxian in the galaxy. They will teach their children to hunt us. Their children will teach their children. It will never end. Emma pulled up new intelligence reports. Sir, you need to see this. We intercepted human military communications. Marcus read the messages and felt his blood turn cold. The humans were not discussing defense anymore. They were planning attack routes to Vraxian territory. They had teams working on understanding Vraxian navigation systems. They were preparing to build ships specifically designed to travel to the Vraxian homeworld. They are actually planning to invade us, Marcus whispered. Another message came through from Earth's surface. It was being broadcast on every frequency, sent to every corner of space. It was not meant for the Vraxians. It was meant for everyone. A human woman appeared on the screen. She wore a formal suit and stood in front of flags from every nation on Earth. Her name was President Rebecca Morgan, leader of the newly formed United Earth government. To any civilization that can hear this message, she said, humanity greets you. We have learned that we are not alone in the universe. For the first time in our history, every nation on Earth has united under one banner. We seek peaceful contact with other intelligent species. We want to learn from you, trade with you, and explore the galaxy together. She paused and her expression hardened. However, we also send this warning. An empire called the Vraxians came to conquer us. They believed we were weak because our technology was primitive. They were wrong. We have defended our home. We have captured their ships and their technology. We have learned their secrets. To any civilization considering an attack on Earth, we do not seek war, but we will never surrender. We will fight until we win or until we are extinct. And if you force us to fight, we will learn everything about you and we will find you. Choose peace and we will be your friends. Choose war and we will be your nightmare. The transmission ended. Marcus looked at his tactical display. The human fleet, now consisting of 15 captured and modified Vraxian vessels plus dozens of enhanced human ships, was moving into an attack formation. They were not defending anymore. They were preparing to strike. Robert checked the latest reports. Sir, the humans have unified completely. Every single nation has signed the Earth Defense Treaty. They have shared all their military secrets with each other. Countries that were enemies last month are now sharing nuclear weapons, satellite networks, and research data. The Americans are using Russian rockets. The Chinese are installing European weapons systems. The Indians are manufacturing Japanese electronics. It is total cooperation. Marcus thought about his own empire. The Vraxian civilization had dozens of colony worlds, but they all competed with each other for resources and power. Different regions had different leaders who argued constantly. Even within the military, different fleets competed for glory and funding. Humans had been the same way just 2 weeks ago. Divided. Fighting among themselves. Wasting energy on internal conflicts. But when faced with an external threat, they had transformed overnight into a unified force. Every human working toward the same goal. No competition. No politics. Just survival. It is remarkable, Marcus said quietly. We gave them the one thing they needed. A common enemy. We united them. A priority alert flashed on his screen. The human fleet was moving. Captain David Miller, a former test pilot who now commanded a captured Vraxian destroyer, was leading the charge. His ship had been renamed Defiance, and it was bristling with weapons that combined human ingenuity with Vraxian technology. The attack was swift and brutal. Human ships coordinated perfectly, targeting Vraxian vessels' weak points with precision. When a Vraxian ship tried to surrender, humans did not destroy it. They boarded it, captured the crew without harming them, and took the ship intact. More ships to study. More technology to copy. More prisoners to question. Patricia Harrison contacted Marcus from her damaged vessel. Commander, we are down to 23 functional ships. The humans are taking our vessels faster than we can destroy them. If we stay here another week, they will have a fleet larger than ours. Marcus made his decision. He opened a channel to all Vraxian ships. All vessels, this is Commander Thorne. I am ordering a complete withdrawal from the Sol system. Do not engage human forces. Do not fire weapons. Do not attempt to recover damaged ships. Leave everything and retreat to the outer system boundary. We are going home. Patricia's face appeared on his screen. Commander, the High Council will have you executed for this. Marcus nodded. I know. But if we stay, humanity will have everything they need to find our home world and destroy us. The elders tried to warn us 50,000 years ago. Now I am warning the rest of the galaxy. Humans do not conquer for resources. They do not fight for glory. They fight to survive. And when they fight, they learn. They adapt. They become whatever they need to become to win. He looked at Earth one last time. We should have listened to the elders. Now it is too late. Humanity knows about us. They have our technology. And they will never forget what we tried to do to them. The Vraxian fleet began its retreat, leaving behind wrecks, prisoners, and the scattered remains of an invasion force that had been certain of victory. On Earth, humans watched the alien ships flee. They did not celebrate. They prepared. Because now they knew the universe was dangerous. And they would be ready. The Vraxian fleet limped away from Earth like wounded animals fleeing a predator. Marcus Thorne sat in his command chair, watching the blue planet grow smaller on his viewing screen. 23 ships remained from the 50 that had arrived with such confidence. The communication system activated. The face of High Council Leader Vorn appeared, his expression twisted with rage. Commander Thorne, you have committed treason. You ignored direct orders to destroy Earth. You ordered a retreat without authorization. When you return, you will be arrested and executed. Marcus looked calmly at the council leader. I accept my punishment. But before you execute me, you need to understand what we faced. I am transmitting all data about humanity to every Vraxian colony and to every known civilization in the galaxy. Everyone needs to know what the elders tried to tell us. The elders were primitive fools, Vorn said dismissively. The elders were right, Marcus replied. And we learned their lesson 50,000 years too late. He pressed a button and transmitted the complete Elder Archives file, along with all combat reports, human history data, and tactical analysis. The message went to every corner of known space. The message was simple: species, human. Origin, Earth, Sol system. Status, hostile to aggressors, potentially peaceful to friends. Threat level, extinction event. They now possess faster-than-light capability acquired from us. They are unified, adaptive, and relentless. Do not attack them. Do not threaten them. Approach with peace or do not approach at all. This is not a suggestion. This is survival protocol. Signed, Commander Marcus Thorne, Vraxian 3rd Fleet. Vorn's face turned dark purple with anger. You have disgraced the entire Empire. I have saved the Empire, Marcus said quietly. Then he closed the communication channel. The news of the Vraxian defeat spread quickly across the galaxy. Other civilizations that had been watching the invasion with interest suddenly became very quiet. The mighty Vraxian Empire, which had conquered 43 worlds without losing a single battle, had been driven away by a species that still used chemical rockets just months ago. Some civilizations laughed at the Vraxians. Others began studying everything they could about humans. And a few wise species decided to stay very far away from the Sol system. The Vraxian High Council did exactly what they promised. When Marcus returned home, he was stripped of his rank, his property, and his citizenship. The council wanted to execute him, but public opinion had shifted. Too many Vraxian soldiers had fought at Earth. Too many had seen what humans were capable of. Many Vraxians believed Marcus had made the right choice. Instead of execution, Marcus was exiled. He was forced to leave Vraxian space forever. 10 years passed. Marcus now lived on a human colony in the Alpha Centauri system, the first star system humans had colonized outside their own. The planet was called New Hope, and it was home to 50,000 humans and a small number of aliens who had chosen to live peacefully with humanity. Marcus taught galactic history at the New Hope University. His students were young humans, eager to learn about the galaxy their species had just joined. One afternoon, a student named Grace Thompson stayed after class. She was bright and curious, always asking difficult questions. Professor Thorne, she said, I have been reading about the invasion. Your fleet still had 23 ships when you retreated. You had more ships than we did. Why did you really leave? Marcus walked to the window. Outside, he could see the city that humans had built in just 8 years. Towers of glass and steel reached toward the sky. Ships launched from the spaceport heading to nearby systems. In the distance, construction crews were building a massive shipyard. Grace, let me tell you what I learned about your species, Marcus said. Every other civilization in the galaxy has strengths. The Vraxians have powerful weapons. The Valan have advanced computers. The Krell live for 500 years and have vast knowledge. But humans? You have something that cannot be measured or defended against. What is that? Grace asked. You refuse to quit, Marcus said. When we destroyed your ships, you built new ones. When we shot down your missiles, you made better missiles. When we had technology you did not understand, you studied it until you did understand it. Other species have limits. Humans do not seem to have limits. You just keep pushing forward no matter what stands in your way. He pulled up the original Elder warning on his tablet. The Elders called you an extinction event. Not because you destroy everything you touch, but because when you encounter something, you do not just defeat it. You understand it completely. You take it apart, learn how it works, and then you make it part of yourselves. You did not just beat us. You absorbed our technology and made it better. That is terrifying to other species. Grace smiled. We prefer to call it being adaptable. Marcus smiled back but sadly. The galaxy has had millions of years to develop at a comfortable pace. Species grew slowly, discovered technology gradually, expanded carefully. Then humans arrived. You went from chemical rockets to faster-than-light travel in less than a year. You went from a divided planet to a unified civilization in 2 weeks. You compressed thousands of years of development into months. That is not adaptation. That is evolution at hyperspeed. He looked back out the window. Do you know what has happened to the Vraxian Empire since we left Earth? The High Council was overthrown. The Empire split into 7 different factions. 3 of them are currently at war with each other. Our weakness was exposed and we collapsed from within. I am sorry, Grace said softly. Do not be, Marcus replied. We earned our fate. We were arrogant. We ignored ancient wisdom. We attacked a species we did not understand. Meanwhile, humanity has established peaceful relations with 14 different civilizations. You have shared your technology with species that asked politely. You have defended smaller worlds from aggressors. In 10 years, you have become one of the most respected species in the galaxy. Grace looked proud but also thoughtful. We remember what happened when someone attacked us. We do not want others to feel that fear. So we try to be good neighbors. Marcus nodded. That is wise. But the galaxy also remembers what you did to us. Every species knows that humans can be peaceful friends or terrible enemies. That knowledge keeps you safe. He pulled up a star map showing human expansion. In just 10 years, humanity had colonies in 8 star systems. Trade routes connected them to dozens of alien civilizations. Human ships explored new regions of space every day. The Elders were right about everything, Marcus said. They said you were an extinction event. They were correct but not in the way most people think. You do not cause extinction by destroying species. You cause extinction by making old ways of thinking obsolete. The galaxy will never be the same because of humanity. The age of conquest is ending. Species that attack others now face not just their victims but humanity as well. You are changing the rules of the entire galaxy. Grace stood to leave but paused at the door. Professor Thorne, do you regret what happened? Marcus thought for a long moment. I regret the lives lost on both sides. I regret that my people were too proud to listen to wisdom. But I do not regret meeting humanity. You taught us a lesson we desperately needed to learn. Some species learn through teaching. Others learn through experience. The Vraxians learned the hard way. After Grace left, Marcus updated his daily log, something he had done every day since the invasion. His final entry read, The Elder warning has been fulfilled. Humanity is now ascendant. They explore the galaxy not with weapons first but with open hands. But those who mistake kindness for weakness will learn what we learned. Humans endure. They adapt. They never stop. The age of humanity has begun, and the galaxy will be better for it as long as we remember the warning. Approach them with peace or do not approach at all. Marcus looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, Earth continued to spin, blue and beautiful and now protected by the most powerful force in the galaxy. Not weapons. Not ships. Not technology. But the unbreakable human spirit.